Hey everyone, this is Jeanette with Janda Panda Treasures, and I'm going to do some more of this 1899 farmhouse journal. But I also wanted to, share with you some visual aids. It happens to be not a great copy, but this happens to be a place called the Shipman House, and this is in Hilo, Hawaii. And this was built in 1899. It looks like it's a Queen Anne Victorian. A little history about this. King Kamehameha IV leased an area known as Kilo Iki to William Reed for cattle pasture. And see if there's anything I can skip over. I probably should have taken some cliff notes or something. This is 1899. After an iron bridge was completed, Wilson bought an 8-acre lot and built a large house in the Victorian architecture style. And it was designed by Honolulu architect Henry Livingston Kerr. But this is actually it just happened to be that I was looking up an 1899 Victorian. And I'm not saying that these folks lived in a 1899 Victorian. They probably lived in a farmhouse, 2-story, something like that. Anyway, so this happens to be a Victorian house. I would call it probably a Victorian mansion in 1899. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But you can also Google it. It's the W.H. Shipman House. And this came from Wikipedia. And built 1899 right there. All right, I also wanted to go through maybe, get an idea what these folks look like, what they would wear, things like that. This is 1890s fashion, clothing trends at the turn of the century. And bicycling was a big deal. So, and this is probably why girls' bikes and boys' bikes were made differently, is to accommodate the skirts. But nowadays, of course, women wear appropriate clothing for riding bicycles. And the need for making things different is really pretty much up to the user's, customization. Anyway, yeah, they used to have fenders on them, interesting handlebars. I don't know if you can see those. And of course, there's a chain guard on so that the lady's skirt wouldn't get caught in the chain. So yeah, that's what they would wear when bicycling. And this looks like it is so this is a magazine. And this is how, ladies wore. They didn't have those big bustling or full skirts in the 1890s. And they had fuller, puffier sleeves and maybe a cloak or something like this where the sleeves would, hang at the side and you can bring your arms up, that kind of thing. And waistcoats and, dresses. And then the little kids. Yeah, here is so this is actually a proper bicycling outfit for a lady from the 1890s. More of a palazzo or pantalone kind of situation going on. That way she really didn't need a guard, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, people were fancy back then. More of the ruffly sleeves, hats. And I noted that she is wearing jewelry. I can't really make out what the jewelry is. It looks like there's a lot of collar pins up here. Well, 2. And a couple of rings. And a bracelet there and a bracelet there. Is that a necklace? I don't know. I don't think she's wearing a necklace there. Lots of lace. Now this is, well, corsets were still widely used. They had fans to keep themselves cool. They had updos. This particular dress has a train. So this looks more formal. And they call this, the big puffy sleeves, the leg of mutton sleeves, or mutton sleeves for short. And then the flare, some, you know, some chiffon or chenille or something, you know, kind of like a gauzy material. Min, here we go. Yeah, they wore suits during the day and formal wear they had tails, coat and tails, and cummerbunds. And sometimes they did a two-tone thing here. I'll bring it up closer so I can get an idea. Top hats and bowler hats. So, yeah. I did want to see what the gentleman looked like. And of course, their sporting outfits right here, playing golf. Kind of looks similar to what they wear today, you know. I've seen similarities on this one for golf. Okay, so this is an actual picture. He's wearing an overcoat. He has a staff, a walking stick. He's got a top hat, a watch chain here, kind of a tie, an ascot. Is that what do you call an ascot? And then look at the curtains in the background. Yeah, the fringes, the over-exaggerated fringe, and these conversation chairs. And this, you know, you can kind of tell something about a person by how they dress. Now, I can't see the writing on these, but maybe these are law books. He could be an attorney, he could be a doctor. He definitely looks professional and most likely has some sort of wealth. And there's a little pin right there. And this looks formal, but he's wearing a bolo, which usually it's formal wear would be like the top hat. He's got jewelry here, some sort of a fob of some sort, and that's a flower, and of course the tie, and gloves. He's wearing gloves. So it looks really formal. This is what children, little boys would wear. Little brimmed hat. These look like shorts or shortened pants. And here's a brother and sister. She's wearing some sort of necklace and a brooch, holding flowers. Looks like he's holding a train cap. And these aren't the same kids, are they? I don't know. There's the mutton sleeve. Colors. Neutral colors were favored in the 1890s fashion. White, beige, gray, and black were the staples in most wardrobes. Men appeared in subdued colors, although neckties and waistcoats occasionally offered a spot of color. Men's colors were generally muted or faded. Mauve and chartreuse were popular alternatives and to the typical white and black. Bold patterns, and then here's hairstyles. A lot of updos, things to go with hats. Hats were a big deal. Here's a style right here, just a simple chignon. You can see she's wearing a brooch right there. Some bangs. And fluffing them up a little bit. Let's see what my last picture is. Oh, Min. Yeah, there's the watch fob. He's got a top hat. But yeah, this is kind of interesting because you can kind of place, you know, old family photos into certain, you know, it could also help identify, you know, people if you're doing a family tree. You know, and seeing how they lived and how they worked and how they played. So I need to figure out where I was in this journal. I think we got through to the 16th of June. I think I saved the spot. And I'll just go on for another 20 minutes or so. So June 17th is where I ended up. So we will reread that. And I'll just make a note as to when we started and when we end so that I can, you know, keep things straight. So anyway, so on we go on this journey, this journal journey. Okay, Saturday, this is just a repeat. You know, I'm just kind of overlapping a little bit. We baked bread pies and cakes, churned and scrubbed. Thea came back this morning and Molly also. Thea and Theodore hauled, I think I was stumbled on this word last time, Maud off this morning. Thea helped Ed Skinner plow. Carrie and the girls cleaned the cellar. Then he mowed the grass in the yard and the weeds in the barnyard. Okay. Be careful when I turn the pages, you know, this is like 125 years old. Okay. Saturday the 18th, all went to church in the morning, but me went to the U.S. Maybe somebody can fill that in. For preaching, we had no preaching like the young folks. We had no preaching. Okay, so somebody was missing. The minister wasn't there. The young folks went to the Reformed Presbyterians to CE meeting, and I stayed at Alba's. Then we came home. It is quite warm. Okay, so Reformed Presbyterians. So that's kind of like a, you know, a clue. Okay, Monday the 19th. The girls washed. I think I might make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see what I am reading and you can see where I'm stumbling. There we go. Monday the 19th, the girls washed. I took a ride with Theodore to get some millet seed and did not get any. The fishman was here for dinner. Just so you know, I looked at a map and there is kind of like a river that isn't far from where this Wapello is. So it would make sense that they might have freshwater fish. Carrie went to Charlie Wilson's to plow. Molly L. went to hear the blind man lecture on temperance. Blind man lecture. Might be something to Google, huh? And the girls picked some currants in the afternoon. Oh, in afternoon looked like rain, but did not rain. Okay. Tuesday the 20th. I had a headache early in the morning. I patched some stockings. It looks very much like rain. Okay, so that's just a repetitive word. I think our AI on our iPhones actually does do that. They do some repeats, but anyway, this is humans. Did rain hard about 3 o'clock, then cleared off and got cooler. We went to Irvin's to eat ice cream and strawberries. Oh, wow, that sounds lovely. Ice cream. Thea went to town. Molly went riding with Will and Ella. Will and Ella. Carrie came home after dinner. Take off my glasses. Okay, here we are on Wednesday, the 21st. I'm gonna have to back up a little so you can see, because I can't get past, there's like a post or something that I can't get past, but we'll try our best. You might not be able to see this. All right, well, we'll just continue on. I'll do my best. The morning was cool, but it got hot as the sun came up this evening. It is warm. It is quite warm. Theodore put in some millet on Mr. Reed's corner. Thea borrowed in the afternoon. Okay. Carrie was absent in forenoon, helped with the currants and stuck the peas. Okay, so there must be planting peas. Nina and Theodore went to prayer meeting. Okay. Thea did not come back to work today. We put up 15 quarts of cherries. That was on Wednesday the 21st. Now we're on Thursday the 22nd. All right. Nina went to town in the forenoon, got paint for the front room, took things out and got ready to paint. I worked some at Molly's. At Molly's organdy dress. That sounds fancy. And helped with housework. Thea did not come back. It rained after dark. There was heavy thunder. Okay. For some reason, I love looking at these like little sidebars here. I'm a little too big, so let's shrink it a tiny bit. These little side notes, because like an afterthought. Anyway, so Nina and Carrie was painting all day. I helped Molly with housework and sewed some at Molly's dress. It was cool in the morning, but quite warm in the afternoon. Theodore was at work in the field when not choring around the barn. He and Nina went to choir practice. Alva, Maggie, and the children drove down a few minutes in the evening. Okay. Saturday the 24th. This has been a nice day. Not too hot, but pleasant. Nina and Carrie finished painting the front room in the forenoon. That's a lot of weird words to put together. Front room in the forenoon. We went to church at 2 o'clock. I baked pies and brown bread. Helped with all the housework. Ed, Ella, and Wilson came over after supper, stayed until bedtime. Theodore got some feed of Mr. Cunningham. Thea came this morning, worked till noon. Now, I can understand why there's not a lot of, punctuation and things like that. This is just a journal. This is just kind of like the daily workings of this person. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Okay. So if I back up a little bit, we've got 2 days to go through. This one's a really short day. Saturday the 25th, all went to church, both morning and evening. We had communion. I don't know what that word is. No rain. So no rain on Saturday. Monday the 26th. So she skipped Sunday. Oh, wait. Saturday was up here. This is Sunday. So now we're on Monday. The girls and Carrie washed. Then Nina and him washed the curtains after dinner. Irvin and family were here in afternoon. Okay, so I had to get the dog to stop barking. Anyway, I think I was here. I hope so. Yeah, this has to be right. Okay, the 27th. I know. It's, you know, life goes on around you, even while you're recording. And they know you're recording. I think that's when the dog barks the most. Okay, Tuesday the 27th. Nina and Carrie washed the front room windows, put down the carpet, put up the curtains, and got part of the furniture into the room. Jim and Agnes rode their wheels down and stayed a few minutes. We all went to Jim Gregorius. Jim. Okay. If I'm messing that up, correct me. You can put it in the comments. After they went away, stayed until bedtime. There was a few drops of rain. Okay. Wednesday the 28th. Carrie and Nina picked the currants. Then he mowed the yard and set some posts at the grapevines. Wow, grapes, yum. I worked at Molly's dress and helped with the housework. Mrs. Scarrett's something and her children were here in the afternoon. Molly and Theodore went to prayer meeting. It sprinkled a little after supper. All right. I sewed at Molly's dress and helped with jam and marmalade. Oh, that sounds so fun. Then worked in hay at, wait a minute, Theo. Yeah, some of this, you know, reading these, you know, this looks like then, but Theo or Thea worked in hay at Cyrus's in afternoon. Carrie picked the cherries and helped seed them. Oh, so yeah, they helped seed them, so they were, you know, taking the little pits out of them. We canned 9 quarts more of cherries. The brothers were here at night. The brothers were here, okay. Who were they? Does she mean like religious people? I don't know. Okay, here's one down here. It's got a little sidebar notation. So Friday the 30th. Clear in the morning, was cool, but the sun is hot. Has been a hot day. Nina helped with the housework in the forenoon. She wrote a letter for Carrie in the afternoon. So she might be like a secretary for him, because isn't Carrie the one who is a teacher? I don't know. I forgot already. I think that's true, that he grades papers at the school, you know. Nellie Owens was here all afternoon, and after supper, the young folks took her to town. I stayed alone. And then down here she writes, Thea worked at Cyrus's hay, went to town after supper. So when they work at hay, I wonder what they're doing, you know, because you got to cut the hay, bale the hay, you know, stack the hay. I don't know. I don't know what they did. It's probably something to look up, you know, what was farm life like in 1899. How did they bale hay? It's, you know, I'm sure there's people who reenact those in certain historical areas. Anyway. Oh, I need to do the 1st down here. July 1st. Down here. Saturday the 1st, a warm day, no rain, yet Miss McClellan was here all day. The young people took her to town after supper. Molly stayed with me. Thea did not come back. Has quit work, I guess. I don't know what that means. Let's hope that there's more of an explanation here. Okay, Saturday the 2nd, all went to church, both morning and evening, except me. Minnie Peterson came home with them for dinner. We had quite a good shower in the afternoon, then several showers in the night. So, yeah, this is kind of reminding me of, the All-American Farm, canning cherries and canning jams and marmalades and things like that. So we'll see what the 4th looks like, which is down here another page. So 4th of July, so Monday, July 3rd. The girls washed the thin clothes, got dry before it commenced raining. Well, that's convenient. It has rained the most of the afternoon. Carrie worked at fixing the pump and plunge rod. He and Nina picked some berries after dinner. He got some potatoes. They were both as wet as rats, and still it rains. Rained by showers all night. Tuesday the 4th, and this might be a good opportunity to pause. Let me see if I can get that in here. Okay. Pause until the next episode. And yeah, it'd be kind of neat to see what kind of equipment they had, how they worked the yard, and maybe see if they've got any kind of like drawings of layouts of farms of 1899. Tuesday the 4th. This is July 4th. July 4th, okay? 1899. Rainy this afternoon, or this forenoon, so this is before the noon. Quit about noon, but did not clear off. The young Wilsons came over in the morning. Our girls and Ed and Will, Carrie and Molly Rock went to Burlington. Did not get home until after 10 at night. Cyrus and family, Irwin and family, Alva, Maggie, Gladys, and Clarence, Ella Wilson, and Anna Patterson were here until bedtime. We had cake, berries, and ice cream, and a lot of fireworks. So they celebrated fireworks for amusement. We had a very enjoyable time. Now thankful we should be for how thankful we should be for society of the children. Wonder what that means. Society of the Children. That's something to look up, maybe like 1899 terminologies, because this looks like some sort of social type of, like we have social media. This is kind of like, sounds like a social media of their time. There's concern that things are changing for the children, that there's like with the internet, things come into our lives that we don't want. And this is possibly, as things progress, you're bringing in good stuff, but along with the good stuff comes some bad stuff. So we can think about that. And I will be back, and starting with July 5th. I'll probably do Tuesday the 4th over, but then we can do Wednesday the 5th. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. please put down in the comments. Sometimes people have like certain descriptions that, you know, they're familiar with, stories that have been handed down over time. And it's kind of fun to, you know, share things. And, you know, I know that there is a television series that was started. I think it's also been canceled, but it was on for one season called 1899. I think it was on Netflix. I think we should, you know, maybe do a little homework. Maybe I'll try and watch that in the next few days, and see if that we can glean any kind of, you know, bits and pieces for that. But anyway, so thank you for watching, and enjoy your Mother's Day tomorrow. Well, you might be watching this tomorrow. So I hope to hear what you have to say. So don't hesitate to put anything in the comments. I appreciate it. Hit the like button. You know, that little button that looks like this. And I will see you in the next showing. And Flag Day is coming up in June. So, and then there's 4th of July. Lots to do this summer. I hope everybody stays healthy and happy and has a good time.